How's everyone doing tonight? Why aren't you watching the Final Four? Because I would be. If I hadn't made this commitment to assemble these models every night, I'd definitely be watching the Final Four right now. Not watching me assemble a model, but anyway, thank you. So we got the Ugears Dream Cabriolet. You can see it here. We're going to get to that in a minute. I just want to first just quickly mention a couple of things that showed up. This is a countdown cube. Now, the YOLO box, which I'm using, has a countdown overlay. And in fact, you could load your own and you could add music. But I don't know. Because it's like I have models on this desk, I thought maybe it'll be cool to have this countdown. It's a little tiny thing, but I can use the close-up camera and it will seem big. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe something unique. I mean, of course, it was like just offered for review, so it's not totally unique, but I guess this will be the first place you see it. I'll charge it up. Well, let's just take a look right now, and then I'll, charge it up before tomorrow's show. Well, before I open that, let me show another thing that showed up. This kind of reminds me of the Cabriolet puzzles, rather than saying on the side, well, actually it says mechanical 3D wooden puzzle, which is very close to what Cabriolet says. And it's a generic box with a sticker, stuck on top. So it's again very Cabriolet-ish, but it's a smaller box. It's kind of similar to the Ugears boxes in that it's like more rectangular than square. But it's very light compared to the Ugears. But it's Ugears, which is like the first same two letters. They obviously like... I shouldn't say obvious. It's not maybe that obvious. But, when you think about like search engine optimization, you want... If you type Ugears mechanical puzzle, you probably want your Ugears mechanical puzzle to show up. It says made in China. But that doesn't mean it was designed in China. We'll have to, when we open it up, see if there's any more information about this company. This is the first puzzle I got from them. It's, again, another review copy, so I don't really know. Wood material assembled without glue, model, prototype, motion, stem. So it's probably going to have some functioning gears if it's got motion, or maybe it's just going to turn on an axle. I don't know. Through the little window here, you could see a wheel with spoke and hub, and you could see some pins, and you could see a gear. So, I don't know. We'll check it out. Maybe we'll even do it next, just because it's a company we haven't seen before. Oh, by the way, here's a funny thing. I don't know why this shows up some nights, and some nights it doesn't, but this thing isn't real. This is a light that's produced by this camera, but it doesn't show up on this camera, and it doesn't show up on this camera, and it doesn't show up, if you can see it, it doesn't show up on this camera, but this camera, oh, now it's gone. It's like it was there and now it's gone. Basically, this number 2 camera produces a light that is invisible to the naked eye, but shows up on our camera number 1, but it's not showing up right now. So I'm not sure why that is. If you see it again, that's what it's from. The fact that it disappeared, kind of interesting. I'll have to factor that in now in the future. I'm not sure what we did to make it go away. Hold on, my son is calling me. What? UConn won. All right, I kind of knew that was going to happen. So it's going to be UConn versus San Diego State in the finals. I suppose I could have came on a few minutes late and watched the end of the game, but I don't know. I got to my room, took a shower because it was like hot and humid today. Started setting up. I like to do. I mean, it's at the point where I could probably set up in like 5 minutes if I was trying to break a record, but it's like more comfortable to set up in 10-15 minutes and just like relax while I'm doing it. Anyway, I'm going to open this cube right now because it needs to be charged. So if I open it now, I could charge it overnight or tomorrow, and then tomorrow's show you'll see this countdown cube, because I'm never quite sure when to start. And I just kind of guess, because you press the go live button and then it takes a little while before it's actually live and you have to confirm it. But if I put this countdown on the screen, then when it shows up on YouTube, I'll be able to see the difference between, like, in real life, what does the counter say, and what does it say on YouTube, and I'll know sort of where we are. So there's something tiny in here. Is that it? Is that the countdown cube? I wonder if it's got any... Yeah, it's got some charge. I, like, touched it and somehow turned it on. I didn't mean to. I guess it's got some sensitive buttons. It's kind of tough to get it out here. I think I turned it on and then I turned it back off. So there's the thing. I don't know what button I have to press. It just vibrated. There's the USB-C charger. Now I've apparently started a countdown, or a count up, as the case may be. Now it's buzzing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I wish I could stop the buzzing. It goes from, like, all different directions. It's, like, constantly vibrating. I'm going to have to read the instructions, and I don't know how to turn it off. There's a little speaker. I would like to at least stop it from buzzing. Seems to buzz every time I flip it around. If I stop flipping it around, it'll stop buzzing. But I would like to turn the buzzer off completely. By buzzer, I mean vibrator. I don't know if you can hear it. There it is. I don't know if you heard that. It's like just vibrated twice. I can't even tell. I think it first vibrated when I pressed this button. Alright, so I just did something, like a reset maybe. Nope, vibrate is back. I don't know if this thing is going to be good or if it's going to be annoying. Maybe once I learn how it works, it's going to be cool, but right now it just keeps buzzing and vibrating, and I don't know why. So, for the time being, it's annoying. And I can't tell which side is up. Alright. There's another buzz. Now it's counting down from 10. I don't know what it's going to do when it gets down. It paused. What did I do to cause it to pause? Are these numbers real? I think those are just graphics. So I think it's only these two sides that have working numbers. I don't know, honestly, what the hell this thing is. And there's headphones in there? Why do I need headphones? Let's see what's going on down there. Yeah. No, that's the USB charger. And what's this? Like a little bag so it can go to sleep at night? Oh, by the way, my son had to track me today, and he won the discus. And he was waiting for his turn to shot put, and he went to the discus. And then he did the discus. And then he came back to the shot put, and they were, like, packing up, so he didn't get a chance to throw. But his, like, worst throw from all year would have won gold. So he would have had 2 gold medals if he'd gotten a throw, even one throw in the shot put. But instead he just did discus. So I guess it's just a bag to put this in. I'm just going to take it off camera for now. And I don't know. I'm going to play with it later, figure out what it is, maybe read the instructions. But it's something, and maybe it'll be at the beginning of the screen tomorrow when the show starts. Alright, I still have one more thing before I start building the puzzle, and that is I'm trying to take some of the work off of the YOLO box. There's 2 things I did. I got 2 A10 minis. One of them goes into HDMI 1, one goes into HDMI 2 of the YOLO box. Basically, there's one input and another input. So, for example, if I go here, this is camera 1 on each. But we've also got camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. And then in those cameras, you can change. Now we got this thing here, and we could cycle through all the cameras again. The Wheel of Fortune. But we also got, yesterday, this camera was a home run. So you're used to seeing it like full screen yesterday. We had this a lot, but now I've got it in the second HDMI. So you're probably, I don't know, I have the ability to it doesn't have to be picture in picture. I have the ability to go full screen, but the way I set it up, I have 4 inputs on what I'm normally using as the main screen, and then I have 3 inputs on what I'm normally using as the picture in picture. And what you saw there for a second, that I actually have 2 picture in pictures, and the second one, it's me. So I think I got the green screen working as good as I've had it. This is probably the best it's ever looked, but it still looks bad. So I want to get a bigger green screen, but I'm not sure how I'm going to solve this problem. Like that's not this cord. I'm not sure which cord it is, but you can see somewhere there's a cord. Maybe it's not a cord. Maybe it's a fold in the green screen, in which case I will be able to fix it. Anyway, things look a little weird back there, but, we're going to fix it. But we basically got is like 12 combinations here. Because let's just do them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got 12 picture-in-picture combinations. And then for 13, we got me. And then for 14, that just went out. That was the iPad just timed out. For 14, 15, and 16, 14, 15, and 16, we got those 3 inputs. And then we have also the unpicture-in-picture inputs. What were we up to? 15, so 16, 17, 18, 19. So we've got 19 different looks for you. There's 19 different ways you can watch me put this model together. I don't know, I mean, it's still just me putting a model together, so I don't know really how, how important it's going to be. It's not any important, but it's something, If you watch this show, then this is what it is. And I just see that there's 6 concurrent viewers right now. I don't really understand why there would be 6 concurrent viewers. There's usually 0 viewers. But anyway, I guess you all got a lesson in how I set up the cameras. All right, so I'm going to start doing the video, doing the puzzle right now. But, maybe one of the 6 people watching is going to be inspired to set up their own multi-camera shoot, because it is pretty simple to do. Those tools aren't expensive. Those ATEMs are $195 each. And the YOLO box, honestly, it's not even necessary. I could just send it straight to the computer. I think what the YOLO box really does, besides having all the inputs, is it just has all the software built into a touchscreen. So you don't have to learn how to use anything. It's just all already there. All right, so here's our puzzle to this point. We've got the side walls. We've got the engine. We've got a gear that actually works back here. We've got some gears underneath. And we've got some boards. We haven't finished any of the boards yet. And additionally, we have all this rubber bands and toothpicks that they're going to ask us to use. And they give us this tool to work with, specifically measuring the toothpicks and rubber bands before we cut them. All right, so let's get to work. I think, what page were we on? Page 23. All right, so then we're on page... I think did we finish 23? I think we did. We're really on page 24. I just got to update the scoreboard here. All right, so we're really on page 24. And let's see here. I don't understand. Oh, the rubber bands. They want us to attach these rubber bands somewhere. I just want to show you the instruction here. So they're basically saying to grab these two rubber bands down here and to put them somewhere. Trying to figure out where they want them put. Yeah, I don't know where they want them attached. Let's look at the next instruction. Maybe the next instruction is where they actually get attached. Yeah, okay. So they want them lifted and hooked around here, which is crazy, isn't it? Like those rubber bands aren't even going to stretch that far. Let's look at the third instruction, and then it's like, yeah, they're hooked. All right, so that's it. They want us to take these two rubber bands and hook them to this, piece back here. So that's it. That's half of page 24. Is lift up these rubber bands and hook them to the back here. Okay, so there we go. Hook one. Hook two. Do they need to follow a certain path? Well, I'm looking at the picture there. And my picture looks like their picture, and they've got a little green check, so I guess we did it correctly. All right, let's see what's next. Okay. What do I want here? So we need... okay. Just for a second, we're going to put this chassis aside, and we're going to pick up a new piece, which is 94 and two 95s, and we're going to attach them. So that's 3 additional pieces. We're up to 249. So we need two 94s and a 95, and these should come from sheet 2. All right, 194, which is a huge piece, and two 95s. And I could tell you that the 94 is gone. It fell out. Maybe this is it? Does this look like it fell out of there? Yeah, that's it. So this is the undercarriage of the car, right? I mean, what is all this ink here? It's like something going on there. I think that's what that is, but is that too big? Right? This is like way wider than the car is. The car is. Like, what's going on here? Oh, this is not the outside of the car. So the car is still going to build up. Probably these are this is probably really the width of the car. And if we take this board, yeah, that looks about right. So this is like not the full width of the car. This is like just the interior. Anyway, this is piece 94. They want us to flip it around, so we're looking at the uninked side. And then they want two 95s, which are these little guys right here. So let's grab those two 95s. All right, so 91 people have clicked on this so far today, which is kind of crazy because there are 0 comments. It's also kind of crazy because there's usually like 5 people. So I'm not sure what happened different. Maybe people came out of the NCAA game and this was the only thing that was streaming. Like people like, wait, maybe I should be covering the NCAA game. It probably would be like more interesting. Anyway, let's get these two 95s in here. I think these are the spots where they go. Those 2 blocks right there. All right, let's see if we can get those in there. I'm also going to flip to where it loads the comments, just in case anyone did make comments. I don't think they did, but I don't see any. Chat. My son told me I have to, when I speak to I have to refer to commenters as chat, collectively as chat. In fact, he said, pretend you're talking to someone called chat. Because I said, I don't always speak in my real voice. Sometimes I like lapse into a whisper because there's like, I'm not really talking to anyone and I have to remind myself to like speak up. And he was like, I was saying maybe I should pretend that I'm talking to someone. And he said, pretend you're talking to someone named chat, because that's the chat box. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. I see it shows 0. Yeah, there's no comments there yet. Okay. The next instruction is we're going to take this steel upside down. So the inked side is going down, and you're going to see that from the undercarriage of this vehicle. So how are we going to do that? First of all, this piece needs to be, this piece in here, which has been here for a while, since like day one, it's going to go around this circle and point it up. So it's been like kind of just flopping around this whole time, but it's finally going to get attached, because it's going to get attached right in the middle of this piece. It's actually kind of tricky to hold on to this. I guess I'll be able to do it, but I'm not sure how to get started. All right. So these two squares and that rectangle in the middle, that's what's going to go onto this. So let's see. So I have to like slide this on here like this, I guess. Well, it's not sliding on. Should I push it on? The thing is, I don't know how deep it should go on. Well, we did have that guide, this middle piece. And so I'm just going to flip it over and see. This middle piece, right, this goes at the bottom. To get that to the middle, yeah, this has got to pretty much go all the way on here. So let's just get it on there and push it down. It's getting stopped by something. There's a rubber band sticking out. So we have to push it on lower than that rubber band. Well, maybe you could force it over the rubber band, but I'm going to push it on lower than the rubber band. I think that's the way to go. Maybe there's a better way, but that's what I'm going to try. All right. Seems to have gone on there. All right, now let's get this middle piece in first. I think this is the one we want to go for. So this little circle piece here, it's not really a circle, but it's this little tripod piece, whatever you want to call it. We have to get this to attach onto this floorboard, do we want to call this? Whatever this thing is. And then we probably can attach everything else, but let's start with this one. All right, we got it. I think we got it. All right. Kind of. We got it lined up, let's call it that. It's not actually in yet. Trying not to crack this board in the process. You know what? It's like there's a lot of connections to make. But I'm like focusing on this one, which is turning out to be the toughest one. And I'm getting all the others like in the process, like not even paying attention to them. I'm just like making those connections, trying to get to this one that I'm focusing on. So I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. Kind of like got everything else on pretty easily. Could go further on. Wow, I think I heard some splinters get knocked off. Are there splinters bouncing around? Did you see any on camera? Chat, did you see any? I don't know. It looks pretty crazy there for a second. There we go. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay, that was a big piece, and every time I get it to go on, I hear splinters, but I don't see any splinters. So I guess everything's okay. That board is on there. Is it on correctly? I probably should have checked that before I slammed it on. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. And now they want just some toothpicks. Where do they want those toothpicks? They want to push through there. Okay, I'll show you. So this is the floorboard we just put on. This piece was already here. It comes from the frame, the side frame, one on each side, and they have little holes. So we got to put toothpicks through those little holes. So that means we got to cut a couple of toothpicks. They want the 2Z size, 2Z size. So that's the 2Z. We got to cut we got to cut two pieces of a toothpick to fit in that size. I'm just going to take a new toothpick. At some point, I'm sure I'll have to start using all the old little pieces of toothpicks, but at least for now, I'm taking a new one. Okay, let's see here. Cut off the end. I did it over the box, which was kind of off screen. There's the box. All right, so that's the size they want. It's a very small little piece here. I use the clippers to cut it, and then I'll use the needle nose pliers to get it in there. So I just held both ends. So there's the little piece. I don't know how I even did that. I had to watch myself when I do the next one. I'm not sure. I just kind of did it and wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. All right, let's get this in here. All right, so we got a grip on that. And now we're going to hold one side. Oh, no, we're going to hold both sides. So I'm holding the top side with the first two fingers and the bottom side with the ring finger and the thumb. But when I did that the first time, I just did it like, I don't know, naturally. So anyway, you probably can do it your own way. Whatever just happens naturally. So now I'm going to use the needle nose pliers to put the toothpicks into that section I showed you. And I'm going to advance the counter to 249. Okay. All right, let's get that in there. If we can. Wow, that toothpick is buried. I'm going to start with the other side. Just because one side was like kind of submerged, if that's the proper term. Basically, I couldn't get the toothpick in. But this side looks accessible. I'll just get it started with the needle nose. And then I'll drive it through with just a piece of wood. There we go. So that's in there. The toothpick is through. Kind of two through, actually. More than it needed to be. All right, so that's good. So now, the other side, I couldn't... You see that? You only see like half the circle. So, we got to try that again. Get... well... we're going to try, there we go. What I meant by try again is we got to try pushing it down again. So we tried that and it worked. So now we got to get the toothpick through. All right, let's see here. Grab the toothpick with the needle nose pliers. Start it with the pliers. Finish it with the wood. That's my plan anyway. All right, it's in there. Okay. Okay. I see there was a chat, but it came and went, and it didn't show up on the YOLO box. So it might have been one of those like, oh, it's happening now. Someone's trying to connect a bot to the chat, which is strange because YouTube is not showing anybody in this in this stream. But anyway, whatever. By the way, we're finished with page 23. So, wait a minute. Why does my counter already say page 24? All right, I guess I was off. I guess my counting was off. 22, 23. All right, so now we're up to 24. And 24, oh, wait, hold on. So 24 starts with cutting 4 toothpicks to this like longest size here, the middle one, the 4Z. The 4Z is like the longest size. So we need 4 of those. And then once we get those 4, we're going to put them through 296s. I just want to point out something here. They actually, for now, even though they're showing the 4Z, they actually just want us to cut those toothpicks in half. Like, if you look at the instructions, it shows it in the 4... or is it... No, okay. They do want 4 sections of that size, and then they additionally want another toothpick cut in half, and then that toothpick cut in half is going to go through these 4 pieces, these 296s. This is getting confusing. Let me just start cutting toothpicks. So I'm going to get 4 sections, basically 6 toothpick sections. I'm going to cut 1 toothpick in half, and then I'm going to do 4 on the 4Z size. So that's 5. No, what is that? That's 6. All right, so we're up to 255 pieces. All right, so let's get to cutting. So one of them we're just going to cut in half. Leave the tips on. All right, kind of estimate the midpoint there. That looks about right. And then we're going to cut 4 to that length. Grab another toothpick for that. And cut 4 to the 4Z length. First, though, we got to cut off the tip of the toothpick. Oh my goodness. I was off screen trying to get that toothpick cut, and I don't know why I was having so much trouble with it. Wow, this is a long section. I'm only going to get a couple of these per toothpick, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, but we need 4. So 3 is not enough. All right, there's the 2 halves, and there's 1 4Z. Yeah, we can get 3 out of this. Because the third one will just cut the tip off. And then whatever's left, that's the 4Z. Come on. All right, there's another 4Z. All right, and what's left here? There's the third one. Plenty of room. Plenty of room to get 3 4Zs out of a single toothpick. I bet if I'd taken less of the tip at the beginning, I could have got the 4th 4Z from one toothpick. But I'm going to grab one of these toothpicks that I've already worked with and just trim that into the 4th 4Z. There we go. There we go. 4 4Zs and 2 half toothpicks. And now we need 2 96s. So we're up to 257 pieces. The 96s are on the first board. Is this the first board or the second board? This is the second board. We're almost done with the second board. Somehow, we're probably almost done with the first board, but we haven't completed a board yet. There's not much left on the first board, but there's a few. So we need 2 96s right now from the first board. They didn't mention to wax them. Maybe we're going to wax them after we combine them. Let's see here. 2 96s. They want the toothpicks through, and then the 4Z, the 2 halves, and then the 4Z. But then they want the 2 halves trimmed. So really, they don't need 2 halves. Anyway, it's, I guess, easy to start them this way because they still got the tips on the ends. So anyway, let's start them. I'll push them in there if we can. All right. There we go. Okay. Kind of dangerous, those toothpicks sticking up like that. All right, now these gears should line up. Let's just pay attention and make sure that they do. I think they will. I think they're lining up. Also, let's keep them flush at the bottom. That's why I'm pressing against a piece of wood. All right, so they want us to trim those 2 toothpicks, but they also want us to add a 4Z in the middle, and I think the 4Z doesn't get trimmed. At least they don't show it getting trimmed yet. Maybe it will at some point. Maybe not. Let's see. All right. Let's get the 4Z. So I'm going to leave the 4Z sticking out both ends because I don't know what they want it to do yet. So I've got it sticking out both ends. The halves, I'm going to cut those, as per the instructions. I'm going to cut them flush with the gear. All right, there we go. It's a pretty big piece. I think I could still reuse that piece. All right. There we go. Yeah. Some kind of bot was trying to connect to the chat. It was in and out for a few seconds. Okay, the next instruction. Yes, we were correct to leave this toothpick sort of halfway out on both sides. That's the correct thing. And then we're going to put this whole construction aside and we're going to start on something new, which involves sort of the last pieces from these first 2 boards. As we were talking about, we're nearing the end of these boards. So 98. Let's see here. So, from the instructions, 98, 17, 97, 6. I know there's 6s here somewhere, but I don't see it at the moment. But the 6, and then 99 and 100. So we're still not quite done with this board, but we're getting there. All right, so let's just take them off in order. So 98, that's the first one we need. As I'm pushing these pieces out, we can talk about, I guess, let's talk about the news. I think I want to get some more like topics that last forever, so you can talk about them even 10 years later, but maybe in some weird way. This is the news from today will give perspective 10 years from now. Okay, there's a very creepy picture here on the first news story. Canadian government funds drag summer camp for children. 7-year-olds up to 17. Carousel Theatre for Young People, a Canadian-funded organization located is hosting drag, I don't know, some drag camp for 7-year-olds. So there have been a lot of these like drag stories lately, and I gotta tell you, it confounds me. Like the first confounding is why it's even like a thing. Because women can wear clothes that are supposedly men's clothes and it doesn't mean anything. But then men wear women's clothes and it's like suddenly such a big deal. I feel like there should be a whole like college dissertation written on this. I feel like it's more than what it seems to be. I mean, this story, all right, let's just take this story for what it is before I go into the whole like philosophy here. So this story is saying there's a camp, and the camp is teaching or supporting or in some way involves 7-year-olds dressing in drag. Now, what the hell does that even mean? Like a 7-year-old? What's the, like, at what age do kids' clothes even become like different? Like male or female? I guess the color, like when they're in the hospital, they like swaddle them in a blue or pink blanket. So if they give the 1-day-old infant a pink blanket, then is it dressing in drag? I don't know what's the rules here. A 7-year-old, I think at 7-year-old, yes, they do probably have some concept of girls wearing skirts and boys wearing pants, but I think it's still still pretty gender neutral at 7 years old. So I'm not sure what you're even proving by having that camp for 7-year-olds. I don't know where they're going with that. But it's a camp, right? So, okay, it says it was funded by the government. I'm not really sure everything that means, but I know that like any camp that my kids ever went to, like sports camp or basketball camp or whatever, I mean, they always had to pay for it. There was never like a situation where someone else was paying for the camp. I mean, there probably exist such situations, but I never encountered them. So if the parents are paying or at least signing up, well, then the parents, I guess, want their kids to go to this camp. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, maybe it's weird that the Canadian government is paying for it. I'll tell you what's the problem with a lot of these political issues is that they're also legal issues, and you have to be concerned about precedent. So, for example, you might say, and this is one of the reasons, well, let me not make it too personal. I was going to talk about this Timcast website and why I'm not like a fanboy of him, although I am going to the website. But maybe it's more to counter the articles than to support him. So anyway, if you say, okay, so the parents are signing the kids up for drag camp at 7 years old, and you might think that that's bad. So you might think, well, we have to save these kids from this. And here's the problem with that in terms of setting a precedent is you might say, I'm going to save this kid from the parents going to drag camp at 7 years old because I think that's wrong. Now, I personally might agree with you that I think that I would never sign my kids up for that. And honestly, I don't even understand what they would get out of it. I mean, if you put them in basketball camp, they learn how to play basketball. If you put them in drag camp, they learn how to, I guess, dress and drag, and now how are they going to use that skill? Like, I don't even get it. But anyway, if you say that you want to stop another parent from signing their kid up, now, for what reason are you going to do this? Like, what's your grounds? And I'll tell you, before you even answer that question, I'll tell you what my fear is, that you're setting a precedent. And now an atheist parent is going to take that and say, why are you signing your kid up for First Communion at 7 years old? The kid doesn't even understand it. So just be aware of that. I mean, if you're going to stop someone else's kid from going to a camp where where boys wear dresses, they might stop your kid from going to religious education, because you've now set the precedent that the government can interfere in what parents teach their kids. And you might say, but I'm saving the kid. Well, you might be. And that would be a different sort of precedent if there was something that was really blatant going on, then you would save them. But if it's just like appearance, like, for example, you see one drag show, and in that drag show you see horrible things, and you worry those are going on at the camp, but maybe at this camp they don't do any of that bad stuff, but you've been triggered by that. And I think this is a very good analogy, because I've been on forums, like internet forums, and I've seen these atheists get like super mad at parents for bringing their kids like to church sacraments. And I think, like, what do they think is going on? Like, they have some like wild imagination about what's going on at church. So I think that we should be careful too. If there is something wrong going on at that camp, then it's like a legal matter and it will be dealt with. But if all they're doing is showing kids how to wear dresses, I mean, I wouldn't bring my kid to that camp, but, you know, I'm certainly not going to create a precedent that now atheists are going to interfere in my kids going to church. Now, my kids are, the youngest one is 16. The oldest one is 30, so it's not really an issue at this point, but it could be an issue for my grandkids. Like, someone could try to stop my kids from taking my grandkids to church and using this, like, 7-year-old drag camp precedent. So I think you got to be careful. I know that it's like a shame. I know that people post videos and say, look at this, you know, parent trying to, yeah. When it comes to like surgery or drugs, yes, I agree with you. But at camp, you know, I don't know. I mean, I like sort of agree in spirit, but I don't think I'm going to get involved in that one. I don't think that's a 6. I don't know what that piece is, but it doesn't fit on here. All right, I think that's one of those piston pieces. All right, so we have to try to find a 6 if there are any left. There's the 17s. Oh, you know what? This thing like popped out. I don't see any 6s on that. All right, let's check sheet 2 for a 6. Why do I feel, is my microphone too loud tonight? I feel like I can hear it from the monitor, and I don't have the headphones in. And I could hear myself on the monitor. You know, I think there was a problem with the mic yesterday, and I was like raising the gain, trying to get it to work. And now I didn't test it today. So by the way, the problem with the mic yesterday was that when I was showing how the ATEMs were set up, I like pulled it out and put it back in, and I turned this button called direct monitor. I like accidentally knocked it off, and apparently if you do that, the mic isn't heard. I don't know why that button can be turned off. If it basically makes the mic useless. I don't see 6 here, unless it's this piece. Let me check in the box here. I know we have some pieces. Yeah. We do have some pieces that fell out. Like maybe that's a 6. I don't know. Let's see if that fits in there. It does seem to fit. So I'm going to assume that that's a 6. We had some pieces that fell out and we're missing 6. So it's kind of logical that this piece, which seems to fit perfectly, must be the 6. I'm just going to sand and wax it before I use it because I had prepped the other piece, sand and wax. But then it turned out to, I guess, not be a 6. So this one probably is the 6. So let's sand it, wax it, and put it on this stick here. All right. This little dot thing goes like this. And they don't show how deep to push this on. I guess if we can get it to that stopper, then that's how deep we're going to push it. Yeah, that seemed to work. Okay. And then this piece goes on. How? It's tricky. I'm going to hold it exactly the way they have it. Again, it's a spinning piece, so I don't know how much it matters. Yeah, the piece spins, so maybe it doesn't matter that much. And then the last piece is this gear. Which, how does this go on? Again, does it even matter which way it goes on? It might be a square in there, and it might be that the gear spokes are equidistant and it doesn't matter, but I'm going to try to put it on the same way they have it. Can't guarantee that I am, but I think so. All right, so now I got to push these together. It just turns out to be not as easy as you would think. Wow. Not getting that to go. Wow, and now it's going past it. What's going on here? Here's a spot where we need a toothpick. Probably it will catch to something else. I'm not going to play with that anymore. Let's see what instruction comes up next. Maybe something that's going to lock it in a little bit. All right. Did we increment for all of these pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think we did. So 6 pieces. So this is going to go to 263. All right, what's next? All right, I want us to wax the gear at the other end and then to add 101 and this piece. And they want this piece waxed too. So wax this, and add 101 and 17. Now, I thought I was done with 17s. I got no more on this board here. Let's see if this is a 17, if it fits. I'm not sure if that, I think that's not, it could be a 17. Let's see what else I got in the box here. That's a 19. Oh, no, that's a 61. Or 71. Here's another circle piece. I don't know. I don't know if those are both 17s. Neither's a 17. I don't know. We're going to try them, see what happens. Anyway, we're adding the 101 and the 17. So here's the 101. And in the next instruction, we're going to add the 102. So I'm going to pop both of them out now because then we're done with board 1. So there's 102. Here's 101. And then we're done with the first board. So first board is completely done here. So this board has no more use. Every piece is gone, so we're going to put that under the desk. And we're done with that board. All right. Now we gotta wax these two gears. Wow, this is still not quite on. Anyway, let's wax this gear. What's the next news story? Oh, I already did that story yesterday. All right. Build-A-Bear introduces drag queen bear based on RuPaul. Children's toy shop Build-A-Bear has announced a collaboration with RuPaul and released a drag queen themed teddy bear. While the bear is said to be marked towards adult. While the bear is said to be marketed towards adult, it is featured on the main page of the website before the Easter gifts. So, I don't know. When I started going to this website, it wasn't every story. It was about like drags. So I don't know what's going on. I don't want that to be the theme of this my channel. So what I would want to know about these bears is, are all of the bears based on real people, or is there a line that's based on real people? Like, I feel like I'm missing some information here. Like what, like, are all the bears based on people, real people? Are some of the bears based on real people? Or is this the first bear to be based on a real person? That's, I think, really is going to determine my opinion on this, because if they've done a significant number of other bears based on real people, then this is a non-story. If this is the first bear that's based on a real person, then it's still a sort of not a big deal, as long as they're going to do other, bears, like hockey player bears and like actor bears and, people like firefighter bears and like I don't know what they're going to do with these bears. If it's going to be a whole line of bears based on some people that really exist, then I guess it's just, one of those things. It's just like RuPaul's allowed to have a bear, so that's not a big deal. But for some reason, this article is there, so I feel like I'm supposed to like make something of it. But I'll tell you, I don't see the connection on this one. Like, it's a bear dressed like RuPaul. RuPaul is a person, so the bear is based on RuPaul. Like I don't really even have anything to say on this news story. This is like, would I do a news story? Like, I showed you that model that was a train, like that Ugears companies made a model train. Like, if they'd have made a model plane, like, would that be somehow a news story? Like I sort of don't get, where's the story here? Like, there's a RuPaul bear. Okay. Maybe I just read an ad. Maybe I basically just got trolled into reading an ad, Now people are going to run out and buy a RuPaul bear. So I put this on, but it's not really staying on. But the good news is the next piece is going to lock it in. So the next instruction, which brings us to 264, is this 102 piece. And this is going to lock these two pieces together. So let's do that. Wow, if I can see what I'm doing. All right. I think I'm going to try the close-up camera and see if that helps me to see what I'm doing. I don't think so. All I see is my fingers. All right, I got one side on. All right. Get the other side on there. I see a splinter fell out. It's not a good sign. All right, I got both sides on, but it's like squeezing, like the, Like something's not right here. They're too far. This wheel at the bottom. What is going on with this wheel? Should there be a second one of these pieces? Like you see up here, there's two pieces. And at the bottom, there's only one. Did I miss something? Let me go back in the instructions. Let's see here. So over here, 100. No, that's how it goes. So we didn't miss anything. What page are we on? All right, 24. All right, so it's kind of like floppy right now, but on the very next instruction, we're going to combine this piece. In instruction 6 here, we're going to combine this with this. So hopefully after we do that, things will start to stay in place. We never used these 3 toothpicks. Why did we cut them? Did I miss when we were supposed to use them? Or maybe they were supposed to go through here and they just gave us 2 instructions about cutting toothpicks. I don't know. Anyway, let's get this in there. Okay. So this body of the Dream Cabriolet, this little grid down here, that's what we're going to connect onto. So that slot in the middle, the gear is going to be movable through that. And then there's 4 here, pins, 4, and that's where the toothpicks are going to go. You see that? You see the holes there? So they're probably going to go through there, and then we're going to put the toothpicks through the other end. I don't know what this extra rectangle is for. I don't yet see the point of it, but I guess we're going to find out. By the way, I don't think this is like all the way on. Let's try that again. Well, Well, let's get it on from the bottom, and then maybe we'll be able to tighten this up. So one thing is the orientation. Basically, this piece that I was just playing with, it's going to go this side, the same side with the V muscle. And then this gear is going to connect to the front assembly. So there's a lot happening here. A lot of gears getting connected. And we're going to put the toothpicks through on the other end. They haven't told us yet, but I'm almost certain we're going to do that. And then that's going to like keep this together. So this gear went down here, but I don't see that it's like attaching to anything. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's turning. Oh, it is. There's over here, there's gears. Okay. It's like off to the side, there's gears. And that's what it's turning. But is it lined up? Well, anyway, let's get this thing connected, and then we'll worry about if the gear is lined up. Because it'll be stronger. Once we get this through here, it'll be more stable, and we could work on fine-tuning the gear. All right. Wow, that definitely went in there. All right, so I think we're probably going to put toothpicks through the bottom now, but let's see. It's not what they say. The next thing they say is putting piece 103 on above this gear that we just added. Yeah, I see where they want that. So piece 103, you think it's on that board we threw out that we were like bragging we were done with? No, I don't see it there. one. I'm looking for where piece 103 is stored. I don't see it anywhere so far. Oh, here it is. Okay. So that's on board 3, where this came out of. All right. So board 3, this is board 3. Because 1 is gone, so it starts at 2. This is 3. And the piece that we need, I believe, is 103. Yeah. 103. It's right here. That's the piece. All right. So let's get 103 out of there. All right. And this is going to go. Yep. That's where it's going to go. It's going to lock in this gear. If we can get it in. It's tricky, but I think it can be done. All right. Yep. There we go. It did say to wax it first before we try to get it in there. So let's wax it up. Oh, and also you have to wax it because that piece is going to turn. I was thinking to get the piece in, but also to allow the piece to turn. The circle to turn. All right, there we go. But the wax also helped to get it in there. All right, that was piece 265. So we're done with page 24. So we're up to page 25. And I don't want to go too far on 25, but I do want to put these 4 pins in, which, by the way, we only have 3 pins. So I guess I wasted one. You know, I had that feeling like, why were we using one before? But it's no problem. We'll just grab another one here. And then we'll get those 4 pins in, and then we're done for the night. All right, so let's just make this one the same size as the others. Okay. Don't want to cut my mat underneath. There we go. Might have been a little big, but that'll work. All right, so where are those pins? Oh, we're looking at the wrong side. This side. These are the 4. I'm not sure if any of them are through far enough yet. I'm going to go up top here and just try to push them in a little bit more. And then see if we can get these pins in. Toothpicks in. Yep, they look like they're going to go in now. All right. You know what? Why are they putting in like half-size toothpicks? They should put... Oh, because there's a gear in the middle. I think we can only put these toothpicks in so far, because you don't want them to be in the way of the gear that needs to spin. Wow, I can't get the angle to get these in. All right, I'm going to have to try to hold it like a different way, which is going to be, you know, if nothing else, it's a way I'm doing for the first time. No, I can't get it. All right, I'm just going to put it along the bottom and try to push it in with this thing. Well, I don't know where that went. All right, we now have... Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's try another piece. That piece was kind of long. Definitely can't get into there. I feel like I could just slide it along the bottom. That should work, right? Actually, I can kind of see here where this is supposed to go. There we go. A little bit in. So now that's way too in because I don't want to block the gear's movement. I think what I want to do with that piece is cut it. Rather than try to pull it back out, I'm just going to cut it where the gear is. All right. So I just got to do that 3 more times. The back 2 are going to be really tough because there's like no room to get to the back 2. There's not a lot of room to get to the front 2, but the back 2, there's just no angle for me to get that. Those 2 back there, there's no angle I can get this toothpick in. It's going to be a struggle. Come on. Oh my goodness, bro. Just get in there. Did I get it started? Or is it going to fly out when I push on it? I think it's going to fly out. Yep. How about I try to taper the edge a little bit, like squeeze it, make it like a toothpick. You know, I can do that. I can push the tips of toothpicks through and then clip them at the other end. Since I clipped the first one anyway, I definitely can do that. Maybe I'll do that for that other side that we were formerly thinking was impossible. Maybe that's the answer. I'm going to try it right now. I'm going to clip the edge to make it like angled so I can get it in there. Yeah. I just split it. I just split it. Now I trimmed it. But is it going to get in there or is it going to splinter further? I think if I put it in downwards, it'll get in there. If I put it in topwards, it'll splinter forward. That's kind of my guess. Let's see what happens. Can't even get it in there. How? I splintered it. Come on. It should be like, it should go in easy now. All right, it's in. And now I'm going to clip it like we did the other side. Get it in there and then clip it. That's the plan. I don't know where those toothpicks are shooting after I clip them. Somewhere. Now, how are we going to get them in the other side? I think I got to use the ends of toothpicks. So here's a couple of toothpick ends. And obviously the ends are like very sharp. They come to a point, and I think we can get that point into those little holes, and then we can trim them. Like, that's the plan. That's what we're going to try to do. All right, let's see. I mean, we totally don't have the angle to do this. Like, we can't even get it in there. Wow. Well, we got it started. It's like started in there. I don't know if you can see. There's like no angle to see this from. It's right there. It's in. It's started. I think I can maybe pull it through with the needle nose and then trim both sides. Anyway, let me get the other side started, and then we'll try to do that strategy. I mean, it's wood, so it should have a little give, you know? If it was like wet, it would have a lot of give. Oh, this one is, we found the strategy on accident. You got to go from the side here. That's it. That's the strategy. Let me give you an angle of that. So I sort of let the toothpick fall down on the side here. I didn't do it intentionally, but it works. So now I'm going to push it all the way in, and then I'm going to trim it from... This one's already good. It only needs to be trimmed on one side. I think the other one, I got to trim on both sides, and I got to push it in a little bit further. That piece didn't come out, but there we go. Did I increment for these? Oh, no, I incremented when I cut these pins. All right, so I'm going to make the first cut on this one already. Oh, my goodness. I'm okay. No worries. All right, so I'm going to make the first cut now, but I think I'm going to have to cut it a second time in a few minutes, in a minute. All right, so there's the first cut, and I'm going to push it through and cut it again. Or maybe I'm just going to cut it from the back if I can't push it any further. All right, it's a little bit. It's a little bit. Oh, we're actually about to finish. As soon as I trim this, we're done for the night. There we go. That's it. So we got the 4 pins in. There we go. You can see the 4 pins. They're in there. So we did it. There's the pins. All right. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.